And I want you to imagine if you're a parent and you have a child who is a junior headed into senior year. And it's a little different. Your child has a disability and you're in a transition meeting and the case manager says, well, based on your child's abilities and some of his past, after high school, you should be prepared for your child to stay home and learn how to make a sandwich. That is what happened to me. First of all, I said, hell no. He's a grown-ass man and he will not be staying home making no damn sandwich. And then after that meeting, I went out, me and my son, and we started exploring programs that were available. And we found so many opportunities. And I had to think, how many parents were told like me, your child has no life trajectory. We see no use of him. And I said, that should not be so. And that was the impetus for me launching the Transition Academy, your source for special needs college and career planning. If any of you are familiar with Show Me KC Schools, that is your source. If you are looking for schools for your child to go to, you go on college tours, you have a planning guide, you have trainings. We want to do for parents who are looking for kids with Show Me KC Schools is doing, we want to do that same thing for parents and families who are looking for the next step after high school. So we want to have tours to college programs, to job training programs, and we want to link those providers up with our students. I know this is deeply personal, so of course you have to have data to back up that you're onto something. Only 20% of people with disabilities are employed. That's 1 person out of 5 has a job. And that's not even necessarily full-time with benefits. And that's compared to 66% of persons without a disability. So it is long overdue that we extend the definition of equity and inclusion to people with disabilities. And that is my mission, that is my purpose, that is my plan, and that is just a little bit about the Transition Academy. Thank you.
Oh, wow. You're such a good storyteller. I was literally crying by line 3. Yeah, someone who has a sister who has a disability who we went through this, like, thank you so much. Like, you're a great storyteller, a great presenter.
Thank you.
What do you think your first step would be? I like where you're going because last year we had a lady similar to you that did it for Kansas City folks also. So what do you think your first step would be?
So our first step is to have, we had a pop-up pilot program where we took parents from the urban core. We met at the Linwood Y. Ride KC gave us free transportation from the Linwood Y, and we went to the Farmer's House Market, which was started by parents who were kind of like me, and they created kind of like a farm-to-table experience, and they've now started a makerspace. So we went and we visited this site, and they were saying, hey, we have openings. If your kid wants to apply to work here, we can teach them retail and makerspace opportunities. We're here. And then once we learned about that, we also talked to a young man, Poppin' Joe's Popcorn. If you haven't heard of him, he's dynamic. This young man has autism and Down syndrome. He owns his own kettle corn business, raised over $70,000 in sales last year, has his own home, is probably out of town right now. He's living his life. So we got a chance to show them here is a parent launched organization, and if you don't want to work for someone, start your own business. And so afterwards we found out that we had like 80% of the parents had never heard of the Farmer's House Market, and 90% of them were saying, yeah, now we're looking at entrepreneurship. So we had that initial data to prove that this was viable. Now we want to do it on a broader level. So we're looking at a pilot program where we would do, we would have even more parents, and we would visit more programs, and we also want to have teachers participate as well.
2 thoughts. One, what are the parents that you're looking at resourced enough to pay you for what you're going to offer?
We're looking at a combination. kind of like the YMCA model where you have some parents who can pay for swimming, and then that kind of offset the expenses for those who can't pay for swimming.
So you're for-profit or not
We're
for-profit?
nonprofit.
Okay, so you're gonna get some contributions.
We're looking at
The
contributions.
other thought I had is with the lab, go out and get affiliate businesses who might be the job pipeline. So that the extension is not just to prepare somebody, but to have a pipeline to get them some employment opportunities. Liability comes in that, et cetera, and you know, how good is the quality of the people, but a good fit. And that's part of your skill set, is to say, after assessment, we got some options where we think the matchup would be good for employment, because not everybody's gonna be an entrepreneur. Some people need a corporate structure, even if it's a small business, you know, whether it's mopping the floors for the lab as opposed to being a salesperson for the lab, depends on the skill set. But the extension, the differentiator would be the pipeline into a job market.
I think you have great presentation, and the challenge ahead is going to be a lot political in the real sense, because it's all about convincing people, right? But to continue on Rob's thought, you can also approach foundations. There are lots of foundations out there that have money to allocate to causes, like Gates but there's probably hundreds of them actually. And second, the government may have programs that are already like federal or in the state level. They may have some programs, so you really need to get into politics a little bit there and search the governmental, you know, system to see like what programs can actually grant you some money, or like how can you like coexist with them.
You
So
could be a
those are-
subcontractor for some government programs.
That's right.
Something that the government can't offer, but you can come in and say, we'll do that piece for you.
And there's also a level of funding that you can achieve that's higher once you've established some credibility. So having a partner network that gives you that credibility on the front end, so building that partner network may also help you get access to funds that you may not otherwise on your own. That's what I've seen in the past.
Okay.
Do you know what Kaufman's two big bullets are? Kaufman Foundation?
Education and entrepreneurship.
Exactly. So if you're gonna educate these people and lead them into business, I mean, craft your message to match where the money is.
Okay.
You mentioned a couple, I'm not familiar, some great cause. Show Me Casey Schools and the Farmers House Market. You complimented them so much it made me question whether are they already meeting that need? Where do you come in with something different than what they're already providing?
Show Me Casey Schools, they are the parent school navigation piece. So if you're trying to figure out what school you want your kid to go through, you go to Show Me Casey Schools. But no one is feeling that post-secondary transition navigation piece. And the Farmers House Market, they're actually an employer, so we would be wanting to funnel some of our folks. They'd be a crucial partner. Okay, and we were all featured in a recent KCPT story just a week ago, so.